Happy New Year, everybody. How are we doing tonight? All right. You have a good New Year? What'd you do?
I just hung out some friends.
Okay. You do drugs?
Not on New Year's.
Why not? That's the holiday for it. I did a lot of acid and Molly, and we jumped into a pool at midnight, and it was fantastic. You should have been there. I will invite you next year. Okay, cool. Anybody else have a good New Year? No. No one. You all suck at New Year. Sorry. I had the best one. You all have FOMO now, so sorry. Guys, I'm getting older. I know I'm getting older because my hair is thinning. I say thinning, not balding, because it's not really leaving my body. It's just trickling down the back of my neck. It's going into the recesses on my back. It's on a great migration right now. It's going into retirement. Turns out my ass is the Florida of my body. It's just all gray hair and swampy down there, full of drugs. I've gotten rid of the invasive species of crab, though, so things are looking up for me. I know I'm getting older, too, not just because my hair's thinning and the gray hairs are coming in, but I found a new problem, and that is I can't go down on anybody after 9 p.m. because I'll get heartburn. Like, I just can't lay on my stomach that long anymore, that late, especially if I've already had dinner and it's tomato-based, forget it. I thought I came up with a clever solution, but so far I've had no takers. I tried to introduce an Alka-Seltzer to the bedroom, just like pop it in and go to town, and so far I've had no takers, and everybody's just said, please leave. So, still trying to figure that one out. Sometimes, if I'm feeling a little lonely and I don't want to bother my friends, I don't want to appear needy, what I like to do is find a missing pet poster and call that number instead, because I'm like, they're already sad, right? Like kindred spirits. So I call them up and I say, hello, yes, I'm calling about the dog. No, I don't have it or any information about it, but I lost a cat one time, so I know what you're going through. If you want to get a drink and talk about it, they usually just hang up. So my new tactic has been I call and I say, yes, I do have your dog. Let's meet at a coffee shop near my house. And then I get there early and I buy them a coffee and I wait. And pretty much every single one of them right away notices that I don't have their dog. And they're like, where'd he go? What happened? And I have to explain to them, like, oh, he ran off. You know how he is. Let's go find this guy. You know how some people say they have like resting bitch face or resting psycho face? I should be so lucky. When I smile, I have active shooter face. You probably can't tell this by looking at me, but I am a pillar of our society. I volunteer at libraries all over the Seattle area. They don't know that I volunteer, but I figure it's the thought that counts. What I do is I go in and I hide joints in the young adult book section. Just like halfway through an Animorphs. I'm like, this is gonna be a lot cooler now. I'm trying to encourage young readers, foster a sense of curiosity. I'm doing my part. I'm giving back to the community. I put acid in the religious section, but that's for other reasons. And if you're wondering how to properly dose a religious text, excuse me. If you're wondering how to properly dose a religious text, you want to get yourself a vial of liquid acid and just drop it on all the upper corners of the book. So when they lick their thumb to turn the page, by the time it gets through the book of John, they're like, this shit's talking to me. Can we all agree that society is like visibly collapsing in front of us, and like we're basically held together with duct tape and bubble gum at this point, and there's like just a thin veneer of politeness holding all of this together? Can we all agree on that? We're 5 days into the new year, and I'm sure you've been reading the news. Like things are getting crazy, folks. And so I think one of the pillars of politeness that's holding us up, holding us together, is the polite car wave. That is where if you're driving down like a residential street and there's cars on both sides and somebody has to do a dip to let the other car go, that person deserves a wave. Like if you have to wave that person for letting you go, and if you're not waving, you're a bad person. Like you're tearing society apart. And I don't stand for it anymore. If I dip and don't get my wave, I stop what I'm doing for the rest of the day and I follow you home. And I'll watch you attempt to parallel park, because if you're not a car waver, you're also bad at parallel parking. I don't know why those things go together. And to give an example of how good at parallel parking I am, I don't even turn the music down when I do it. I'm just bing, bang, boom in there. So I get out of my car, this person's trying to attempt to parallel park. I start mocking them. I'm just like, your hypotenuse is all off. You're never gonna get in there. How do you have a backup camera and you're still bad at this? And it's not illegal to give people bad advice. Like, that's on them to follow it or not. And so I get behind their car, I'm like, come on, cut it hard. You got plenty of room, back on in, boom. And then I make them crash into their neighbor. And then I'm like, you should have waved. You recognize me now? I am kind of a petty person sometimes. And I'm also a spiritual person. And I have for sure tried to use the power of prayer to smite my enemies before. And what I've found is that mainstream gods, the Christian gods and so forth, they're busy. They're like a big corporation. Everybody's trying to call. Their lines are busy. You got to talk to a robot to maybe get through. Like, you're going to get hung up on a bunch. It doesn't work. Like, they're not answering my prayers to get rid of somebody. And so I found a loophole, and that is you gotta find a god that isn't busy anymore. The whole Greek pantheon, nobody's paying attention to them anymore. They want attention. They're drama kids. They need it. And so you can just hit those guys up. Like, I sacrificed a goat for Zeus, and I was like, Zeus, this is for you, dude. Kronos sucks. What's up? I need some help. And I was like, this guy Brian at work, he keeps eating my sandwiches. Can you help me out, please? Like, goat, it was for you. I got more goats if you want them. And then a few days later, Brian's walking to his car in a parking garage, and a swan comes out of nowhere and it starts beating him with his wings and pecking at him. And this swan, you're right, it does have a human penis and testicles on it. It did, in fact, and it is bashing him in the face with it. And Brian is just like blown. He doesn't understand what's happening because he doesn't read Greek mythology. He doesn't know that that's how Zeus appears sometimes. And so now Brian is drawing pictures of geese or swans with dicks on them. He's talking to everybody in the office about it. Nobody believes it. He's making TikTok videos about this. He's losing his fucking mind. Eventually, HR came to talk to him. It was like, Brian, you can't talk about a swan with a cock anymore, okay? Like, you gotta go. We're firing you. And so that's how I used the power of prayer to get a guy to stop eating my sandwiches. And now you know. Zeus is not busy. You can get through. I think if you say you're bisexual, you should have to act on it once a year. Like, you just can't keep riding this one-time occurrence for the rest of your life. Like, okay, you slept with your college roommate, big deal. All right, you gave a guy a hand job while you're both coming down on Molly in a hostel in Berlin. Who hasn't? It's not like the Marines. It's not Semper Bi. It's more like a union. Got to keep your hours up, stay certified, pay your dues, watch a training video for once in a while. I suck a dick once a year just to make sure I still don't like it. Because your taste buds mature as you get older. Like, I don't want to miss out on something good just because I'm being stubborn. Like Brussels sprouts. I couldn't stand those things forever. Then all of a sudden somebody starts pan roasting them with balsamic vinegar and bacon. Now I can't get enough. What if dick's the same way? I don't know. You got to check in with yourself every once in a while. All right.